All right, quick lunchtime repair job here on the Kawasaki. Not a repair job, I'm just removing the water pump bearing. Let's see if I can get this collet tightened down on the bearing pretty good here, and then I'll pull it out. Okay, that's pretty good and tight right there. So the idea is that you have this little collet. It has a 4, if you can see it on camera or not, it has a 4 like little edges to it, corners, kind of like a pie. The light was on it perfect. There we go. And so you basically stick a ram. You kind of put a tool like this, and you kind of thread this down there, and as the threads get onto this collet, it expands, and then this will tighten in around the inside of your bearing. Grossly oversized bearing for what this is, but to show you kind of how that works. And so now that I've tightened this down onto the bearing, it's nice and snug. And assemble the tool. Alright, and this is just simply a slide hammer situation, so it pops out just like that. Get the light on it again. Okay. Alright, so let me remove the slide from the collet and adapter. This out of the way. Let me remove this adapter from the collet. So I've priced out all the replacement seals and bearings for the engine. I'm looking at just under $300. Most of it's Surprisingly, most of it's still available. It's this little adapter that goes inside here. It's this little ram right here is what expands the bit on the end there. All right, if you're doing much engine work on your motorcycle, highly recommended to have a quality inner bearing. This bearing is actually fine. I could probably reuse it. I might reuse it. We'll see. This little bearing right here is $10 from Kawasaki. So, crank bearings, on the other hand, they're quite a bit more expensive. They're like $30 a piece. Those I will not cheap out on. I'll go get brand new ones. Okay, so this is the water pump right here, shaft, and so there's a little collar in here, and there are seals. If this is one seal, I think it's 2 seals. So I've got to get that collar out. There's also a seal here. This is the power valve governor actuator rod thing. I'm not sure what this part's called, honestly. To be quite honest, I don't know what it's called. There's a seal right here. It looks like this seal has been leaking, so this is one I definitely want to replace. It's going to be a little tricky to get this thing. This comes out pretty easy, but it's going to be a little tricky to get this removed. It's got a little teeny tiny Phillips head screw right there. So that's going to be the pisser. So I'm going to have another little bearing right here that I can probably use the same puller. Why am I removing all these bearings? Because I am having these cases, case halves, having everything vapor blasted, and I don't want to get the I don't really want to get the media all into the bearings, especially if I can reuse some of these bearings. Like these water pump bearings, they're never under a big load, and as long as they don't feel gritty, I'm going to clean them up and oil them and reuse them. And so I'm just tightening the adapter onto the collet, which is going to make the ends of the collet spread out and make contact with the back side of that bearing. A little bit janky to do here on camera, but here we are. So again, we'll just take the slide tool and we just thread that onto the adapter like this. And let's get a couple taps with the slide there, and the bearing is now free. All right, let me get this tool disassembled, put away, and then I think tonight I want to try and get that rod arm off and see if I can clean up some of this gasket surface. And I probably need to pull out these dowels, and maybe also that dowel right there. I'm going to get that gasket removed. There's a little dowel right there I need to pull out. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to do something, do it right, I guess. I'm going to do my best to do it right. I mean, if you're in this far on an engine, why not go ahead and make it right? You know, just replace all the seals. We don't have to. Oh, the problem today. There's a lot of problems today, as you didn't know. A lot of problem today is that a lot of people get these bikes to flip, and so they do the bare bones minimum they can do to say they rebuilt an engine. And when you ask for receipts for these flippers, they never have the receipts. They just said a guy did it or whatever, and like, well, you don't know what that guy did. You don't know what they did or what they didn't do. Or that they're going to wind up getting the absolute cheapest quality parts. If it saves them $5 on a $200 part, they will 100%, they will save the $5 and get the cheaper part that is known to break. Here's looking at you, hot rods, which have a terrible track record with their connecting rods. But that's why whenever I see bikes on Marketplace that say they've been rebuilt, fully rebuilt, and bought in as new, like, I immediately am afraid that whoever rebuilt this engine more than likely took shortcuts. They didn't replace seals, and they used the cheapest quality components available. And it's just a waste of a lot of energy and time and money to rebuild an engine and not do it to make it last. But that's the problem today. People are into flip stuff and they don't really care about it because their time frame for making things last is literally through a sale. And whereas, like, I'm building this bike to ride for a little bit, so I'm gonna make sure it's good. That's the way it should be done.